Hi, welcome to FunPossible. This is future Michelle. Because we were so excited on our Alaska cruise, we forgot to film an intro and an outro again. So here I am to introduce our day in Juneau with the dog sled camp and the Mushers camp just outside of Juneau in Sheep's Creek. I hope you enjoy our video today. Bye!
We finally made it to Breakfast at Cabanas, which is one of my favorites because you got a Mickey waffle with a whole whipped cream topping, blueberry muffin, got French toast, bacon, these little hash browns, which are probably just frozen ones that get like fried up, but I love them so much. Sausage, this is vegetable quiche, ham and egg and cheese croissant. And I got a mixed berry yogurt.
I got the same.
Perfect.
And I got a blueberry muffin.
Bloobs.
My baby.
Yeah, we're in Juneau today. We're gonna go and see some SLED dogs.
So this forest is the Tongass National Forest. It covers 90% of the Southeast Passage that you're traveling through. So it's likely any forest you see will be the Tongass National Forest. It was made a forest in about 1905 by Teddy Roosevelt. And when he did it, he made a promise to protect the trees and the land to the indigenous people. But there was a problem. He sold 350,000 acres of it, or allowed that sale, and it was to a logging company. So that was a huge problem for the indigenous people here, especially the Tlingit tribe. They decided they were going to sue the United States for that breach of trust. And so they started trying to sue in the 20s. And they had lawsuits occasionally through the years, but it wasn't until 1965-ish that they actually won the lawsuit. And one of the reasons why they won it is because of the sale was a breach, and it affected them personally because they use the red cedars for their canoes and their totem poles. And at that time, they were able to bring the lawsuit because they were recognized as a tribe of the United States, and it was a time of reparations happening in the 60s. This mine is the AJ mine, the Alaska Juneau mine. This was a lot smaller. This had 9 stamp mills, and it only ran from around 1922 to 44. And if you look to the left, you'll see one of those stamp mills that's still encased in concrete.
Oh, that's what it is?
Mm-hmm. And then we have another one up above that's open, so you'll be able to see like the inner parts of it. All of these artifacts are from that time. They never left this area. So Juneau only has black bears. There are no brown bears inside Juneau proper. Juneau's 48 miles long. It's the only U.S. capital that borders another country. So we'll go up to 1,000 feet in elevation, and then we'll drop down into camp, which is at 800. In this forest, there are western hemlocks, the red cedars, cottonwoods, and Sitka spruce. The Sitka spruce are the trees you see that have the green at the end with that new growth, and it's so pretty. On the left here is the other stamp mill that I mentioned, the big one. See how big that is? So on this side, there were 90 miles of tunnels in this operation. So now that stamp mill is a porcupine hotel. The porcupines love the old stamp mills, I was reading, because they're kind of like tunnely and they have like little nooks, so there can be like families in there and stuff. And on the left here, you'll see these plants that are tall with the branches and then the leaves at the top. Those are called Devil's Club. You'll see them here and there. Here's an example here, one sticking out. And they use the bark and the roots of that plant to make a salve for like achy joints and muscles. Do any of the cruise ships have roller coasters? Because we've got one. Hold on. Hold on to your hats. Here we go. Woo! Oh! Put your hands here like you just don't care. There's a couple of spots left that haven't grown in where you can see the Sheep Creek down below. So the bears are really getting happy right now. The dandelions are popping off. They love those. There's fish starting in the creek. The salmon berries are starting to flower and bloom, which means those will be ready in a little while. The blueberries are blooming. There's a lot of food in this forest. There's not a lot of competition between the animals. So, you know, the other day we had a bear on the road here and there were Sitka deer nearby, and you know, there's plenty of food. They don't need to chase a deer. That's a lot of work. So if you look out to the right, you'll see the building with the yellowish orangish roof out there in Sheep Creek, and that's where we're going.
They couldn't find a scenic area to put it?
Yeah, you know. So guess how many dogs we have in the yard?
127.
Ooh, that's a good guess. It's a little higher.
Higher? 130.
Ooh, lower.
142.
184.
Wow.
And that includes the new puppies that were just born last week.
Oh.
You will see them, but you can't hold them.
Oh.
I just heard that they're letting you pet them, but the Musher's holding them.
That's why we get to touch.
Yes, but then we have another litter of puppies that are 12 weeks old, and those you can hold and kiss and hug and play. So those puppies are really highly socialized now, and they're going to be soon start getting out training to be sled dogs. So when they start training the puppies, the first thing they do is in the pen, they start using voice commands. So the main thing a sled dog needs to know how to do is obey a voice command, recognize a voice command. Sled dogs don't need to know how to sit or lay down or paw, none of that. That's not their life. They do need to know how to speak the language of mushers. And that's something you'll experience on your ride. The mushers love to answer questions. They're very passionate about mushing, about their dogs. I wouldn't be here if I saw one bit of mishandling, mistreatment. I'm in awe every day as to how much these dogs are loved by everyone here. Everyone's here because of the dogs. We appreciate them and we take really good care of them. There's 4 yards here of 4 different families of dogs. So each yard, those dogs know each other and they hang out together, but they still get in fights sometimes, or The other thing that can't happen or that really needs to be avoided is accidental breeding. Sled dogs are really expensive to feed, and since they're such a specialized breed of dog, the mushers and the owners really don't want accidental breeding because they're hard to find homes for where they will live the life that is so unique and special to this breed of dog. They're born to run. So another reason why sled dogs are kept the way you'll see they're kept with their dog house and they're on tethers is because they run. So if they're just running loose, they run. They want to run. That's their main purpose in life. They live for it. It makes them happy. So some people feel a little uneasy about it, but just know that today every single dog in the yard is going to run, and they exercise and they're fit, and you'll see how fit and happy they are. So they're different dogs than your house dogs. They're working dogs and they live in a pack. If we have a dog that's injured and we bring them inside to nurture them, take care of them, they want to get out. They don't want to be inside with us. They want to be with their pack. They want to be on the line. They want to run. Another thing that mushers need to monitor is their food and water. Because they're athletes, they need to make sure that they're eating enough and that they're drinking enough. So if you have dogs just all running loose in like a big kennel, that's really hard to keep track of their health. Each different colored doghouse represents different yards. Up here on the right you can see the trailers, an example of the dog trailers that they come up on. So Shani, straight ahead, will be your guide for the first part of the tour. It starts here in this blue building. We do have bathrooms, and we do have a place for you to store your belongings.
And resist the urge to say hi to the dogs just yet. Probably should get a chance. Blue tent. Take a minute to soak it in. Welcome. How are you guys? Good. Excited? You will in a little bit, for sure.
I'm sure Lauren should cry.
More than welcome to get on it.
Ooh. Must be the
These are little booties.
little pup mittens.
If you look at the pictures around you, you kind of will see bigger, fluffier guys. Now we do have traditional breeds, so Siberians, Malamutes, Inuit dogs, and a few more localized breeds. Greenland Huskies right there.
Oh.
Big fluffers. Now, I've been told that picture is a little misleading. The guy's just really short. That's still 100, 120 pound dogs. Now these breeds were primarily used as for freight. So carrying heavy things, supplies between towns and villages. So they are bigger than the guys that you see out there and stronger, but they could not run as fast. So these dogs would actually travel between 2 and 6 miles per hour. It was slow enough that mushers could just walk behind their teams the whole time. So if you look at that picture in the corner, you can compare that sled to the one we have back here, and you'll notice that the wooden sled doesn't have anything for the musher to stand on in the back. That's also where the word mush comes from the French to march. I won't pronounce the French word because I'm just going to butcher it, but mush means to march, to walk. Musher is a walker because they walk quite a bit. Now we can't do that anymore. These guys are bred purely for performance, so that's speed and endurance. Once we get on the trail, it's my job to keep them at about 7 to 10 miles an hour, so almost twice as fast. That speed though is how they're able to cover very long distances without burning out. So even for a race like the Iditarod, they really won't be going that much faster than 7 to 10 miles an hour. We do have sprint mushing, and that's a completely different animal. You will be going full speed 50 to 25 miles an hour.
Ooh.
It's kind of like watching NASCAR. You're just waiting for the musher to be launched out of the sled. So won't see me doing that. It depends on the distance, on the total distance of the race. For the Iditarod, we got 1,000 miles of trail. They'll be covering anywhere between, I would say, 60 to 120 miles every single day.
Wow.
Have you done that? The Iditarod?
I have not, but that is the goal. So you can't just sign up for it. You have to qualify, just like the Boston Marathon. So you have to complete 3 different races totaling 700 miles. 2 of those have to be 300 milers. 1 has to be at least 150. So that's really the main reason why I'm spending my summer here this year. 15 of my dogs in that yard are some of my most experienced dogs. Some of them have done the Iditarod with other mushers. The rest are some of my youngest. They're yearlings or 2-year-olds. So I'm using my veterans to train my younglings, get them ready for a racing team to do my first qualifier this winter.
Nice.
That would be a 200-mile race over in Oregon called the Eagles Cap. So we'll see how that goes. But that will be in January. I just want to focus in one race this year. The following year, do the other 2 qualifiers. So 3 years from now, I would be ready to do this race. That's 1,000 miles. It's every musher's dream to be able to do it. Definitely not for the faint of heart. Not only is it 1,000 miles, but temperatures there can drop to -60s plus windshield. You could be driving through a blizzard, complete whiteout conditions, trusting that your leaders can sniff out the trail for you. And the only ones allowed to help you out on the trail are other mushers competing in the race. There is pretty good sportsmanship. Everyone else is a tough race. Now, the first time it was done in 1973, it took first place 20 days to complete. They cut that down by about half. So on average, 10 to 14 days. And the speed record is 8 days, 3 hours, and 40 minutes. That's 120 miles every single day. So that's what these dogs are capable of. Again, some of them have done it. Some of them are training to do this race. Long distance athletes, and they're treated as such nowadays. There's a lot more that goes into their conditioning and their dieting to get them ready for something like this. Now, every dot that you see on this map is a different checkpoint along the route, so there's about 27 of them. And you don't have to carry every single thing that you need at once. If you see those bags on the side, they have names on them, which correspond to the checkpoints on the route. So before the race even starts, you can just pack all your dog food, any extra supplies that you think you might need, ship them out to those checkpoints so they'll be ready for you by the time you arrive. So you only carry what you need between checkpoints. But you can look at this sled as well. It is a racing sled for long distance mushing. This one has actually ran the Iditarod with Matt Hayashida. He's the general manager here. And you can see how different it looks, mainly the materials, plastic, aluminum. It's meant to be very light, about half the weight of a traditional wooden sled. It's also very flexible to get you around the trail. But the basics do remain the same. You got your basket in the front to carry all your things, and then 3 sets of brakes. A big metal claw, that's your main brake to fully stop a team. A drag mat in the middle, you can shift your weight around on it just to manage the speed of the team. And then on each side you carry a snub hook. These are basically your parking brakes. So if you need to stop, make a change in the team, you can set these down. And that will hold your sled for about a minute before they start pulling again. Now they're also your emergency brakes. So if there's anything blocking the trail down the way, you can just throw these in the ice. That will catch your sled pretty well. I've been doing this for 5 years, so my first year on the sled, I ended up running into a whole family of skiers with a loose dog. So I threw my snow hook and it did its job almost a little too well. If you stop too fast, the momentum can carry your sled forward and your snow hook can end up a couple feet behind your sled. That gives you 2 options. You walk behind your sled to go get your snow hook, or you cut the rope and forget about it. But I had another person in my sled, so I figured they could hold my brakes back here while I went to get my snow hook. As soon as I pulled it out, my sled just took off from under his feet, and my team took off on their own. So I yelled at the skiers to catch my sled. First guy jumped, missed the handlebar, just face planted on the trail. Second guy did catch the handlebar, but he had skis on, so he was just dragging behind it. And then the third guy missed the handlebar, grabbed him to the second guy, and together they slowed it down enough that I was able to catch up. Moral of the story, if you're on a sled, rule number 1 of dog sledding, never let go. Otherwise you got a long way to walk. Now anybody knows what these are hanging from the roof?
Booties.
Booties, yeah. So those are booties for their paws. We go through a lot of them, mainly because they're very good at losing them in the snow. Just for the Iditarod, they estimate they go through a booty per mile. So that's 1,000 booties just for one race. Now we don't really use them for the cold. They have a lot of fur in their webbing, so we use them primarily just to keep any snow from building up between their paw pads. Especially if you got that wet, sticky snow you can make snowballs out of, you can start getting little lumps. Imagine running with pebbles between your toes, will not be comfortable at all. So we put booties on to keep that from happening. I have a dog named Fatty. I promise I didn't name her, that was the previous owner. But if she sees a booty on the trail, she'll pick it up and run with it in her mouth until she's done with her run. So she knows how to recycle. Saves me quite a few booties through the winter. Now for humans, we're not as well built for the cold, so we do end up looking like big marshmallows in the winter. Once you get to -20s or below, you'll definitely want a parka with you. But has anyone ever seen a pair of these?
Yep.
You have?
Military.
Yeah. They have a nice nickname, Mickey Mouse boots or bunny boots. And people that wear them do swear by them as some of the warmest boots you can find for the winter. I believe they're rated down to -65 degrees. So just like a tire, you can pump air into them for insulation. So pretty nifty. Only downside is they are extremely heavy. But if you're going on a really long run, don't plan on getting off your sled anytime soon, they're definitely a good pair for you to have. Now for long distance, races are pretty flexible as to what you can do with your sled. The guy that won this year, his name is Dallas Seavey. He basically built his own sled from scratch. For this one, I can tell you that's not original. That was the Musher's idea, to give themselves a seat for long runs and a place to keep their lunch in place.
Yeah.
You can get pretty creative. You also have to be very handy. Your sled could break mid-race. You might have to repair it. There's an area right there called the Burn, notorious for having no snow at all. So you can have 10 to 30 miles of running on rocks. So a lot of mushers will just send an entire replacement sled just in case there's a break. So every race will have a list of required items that you have to carry. Most are the same, like a 0-degree sleeping bag, maybe a tent, emergency rations just in case, which altogether that can be about 20 pounds or so. The rest is up to you, what you're gonna carry. I would say, well, since it's a race, you're gonna try to keep it as light as you can, but it does end up being probably about 100 pounds to 200. For the Iditarod, checkpoints can be as close as 30 miles from each other. Then you can get segments of about 70 miles or so. So the weight that you carry can vary quite a bit. I would say maximum you'd probably carry about 300 for those longer sections. Now if you're a rookie, you're most likely going to be using those checkpoints as your resting stops. They won't have anything fancy for you. It might be a small shack like this one with a heat source for you to dry out. For the dogs, they'll create parking lots where you can just drive straight in, park your team. They'll have straw for you to use as bedding for them. It's good insulator. And then we have jackets like those right behind you there. You can put those on, or blankets, cover them while they rest. Now if you're a veteran, and you're really trying to win that race, you're most likely going to be resupplying at those checkpoints, but then you'll keep going down the trail to cover a bit more mileage. You can find a quiet spot for your dogs, tie your sled to a tree to make sure they don't leave you behind, and just camp out with your dogs. Same thing, you'll just grab a bale of straw at that checkpoint and keep on going. Find a good spot for your team. You're also going to be feeding them quite a bit. They're burning through a lot of calories once they're doing something like the Iditarod, 5,000 to 10,000 calories every day. So every couple hours you have to snack them. You'll carry basically small chunks of frozen meat. That will be their snack. You'll do that quite a few times throughout the day. And then for their main meal, you'll have something like this, a cooker. You'll melt a lot of snow in there, mix kibble, mix meat, basically make a soup for them. That way they can hydrate as they eat.
Nice.
We can head out. I'll introduce you to our team. through the season. That way we get to know them very well. Makes it easier to get to know them continuously.
We're from Palmdale.
Glendale?
Palmdale.
Oh, Palmdale.
You know where that is?
Yes.
The middle of the desert.
That's the middle school. I had to say with me, and I can see college there. So this is Gaia.
Gaia.
I have Patriot here, and my boy Blaze.
The
They're all
loud
very friendly. Patriot here is very mellow.
Oh, give me the butt.
The butt rubs.
You
Here
want
you go,
some butt
Gaia.
rubs? Hi,
You're so
Gaia.
beautiful.
Sure.
Oh.
Oh.
She's not shy. She's just like, I know what I have to do.
Hey, Patriot. Oh. Nice butt rubs. So get that butt piece.
The booty rub?
Get that booty.
Blaze. Oh, hello. Hello. Oh, the ears, the ears, the ears. How are you?
Oh, look at Charles. Let's have booty, please.
Some booty rubs? Oh, I can't leave. Blaze is
Is
still
it booties?
my booty.
Charles. Oh, yes, there you go.
Hi, Blaze.
He's a good boy. Oh, some more? He's a good boy. He's a good boy.
Hi, Charles. Oh, you want a head rub?
Oh.
You want a head rub? Okay, baby. You're so pretty. You're so pretty. Oh, I mean handsome.
And get down, and I can.
Oh, hello.
Oh.
Hello. Blaze wants in on this cuddle too. Hi, Blaze. Hello. You know who loves you, huh? You know who loves you. Me. Me, I love you. Hi. Yes. You're so sweet. You want some more booty rubs? Some more booty rubs, yes. Oh. I'm in heaven. Oh my God. Little boobies.
So, all the way in the front, we got our two leaders. That's Patriot on the right side. She's my veteran in this team. She's 8 years old. Very experienced. Comes from Minnesota originally. She's done a lot of mid-distance races, so 100 to 300 milers. Easy. Then we got little Gaia on the left. She's my leader in training. She's a year and a half, so pretty young. Oh! Yep. Good dogs. So you saw them kind of veering to the right without me giving a command. So I gave them a different command to go left. We change it up on them because if we do the exact same thing every single time, they'll memorize it and they'll start tuning you out. Especially for little Gaia there, I want to avoid doing the same thing over in the commands. Now you heard them bark at each other. They were basically talking to themselves, figuring out what I was telling them to do. But Gaia needs to be up and lead, but she's very smart, very focused, and so far is doing an outstanding job. When they first start running in a team, yeah, I usually keep them near the back of the team. Okay. You can slowly build them up towards the front. And definitely anyone that you think might have potential to make a leader, you'll start working them second row is a good spot for potential leaders. You can surround them by your best leaders so they can just watch and learn. They're roasting turkey. It's their first time in swing today. So I'm keeping an eye on them to see how they do. If they show any promise of understanding my commands. But as a backups, I have my boy Charles and Blaze. They're kind of leaders, backup leaders.
Leaning on each other.
They're in the third.
Yeah, we're on the same side right now.
Yeah. They like each other.
They're really competitive.
They're like
I
glued
run-
together.
They're both like, we run on the left.
I told you, Blaze does what he wants.
No, they're not stuck. No? No. They're just really comfortable with each other.
We keep breaks to cool down, but as you can see, patience is not their strong suit.
The way they hop.
After a few seconds, they start barking, looking back at me, wondering why we're still stopping. Good dogs.
Had a disagreement up
They had a
front.
disagreement about what he was saying.
That's good. That's why you take two of them. Some mushers that even run three of them. That's a little crowded for my taste.
Let's get some.
Nope.
Oh. Jinkies, good job. Good job. Yes, good job. Oh.
Good girl, Ember.
Good job.
Charles, you did so good. Oh, you're so hot. Did you get warm? Good job, Blaze. Blaze does what he wants.
Yeah.
Bye, baby.
Way. It'll be another 4 weeks before they're born.
He's a heavy guy.
You try to have a video in here or
My kennel size, I
Hello.
summer is really the best time to have them just because it gives you time to just focus on them.
You know who loves dogs, don't you? I would have 1,000 dogs if he would let me.
this is case in Wyoming for you.
You ready? Make sure you support its booty.
You're gonna sit down. It'd be easier sitting down. We got both.
You like laying on your back, don't you?
She's so sleepy yet right now.
Sophie's like somewhere.
So we got her in angel mode then, huh?
Yeah.
Are you in angel mode now?
Look how big those paws are.
Oof. It's gonna be a big girl.
Smaller.
So sweet.
Is anyone else?
Did you get to hold her yet?
They're very familiar with their mom's smell, so they base where they go on all them smell.
Oh, you're okay, Mom. Baby's right here. Baby's right here.
How long does mom stay with them?
2 months. At 2 months, you can wean them from their mom. You can keep them longer if you'd like, but that's the minimum.
Hey everyone, Future Michelle here. Hope you enjoyed today's video with our experience in our Juneau dog sled excursion. There'll be more coming soon with part 2 of Juneau with our day shopping and the rest of our day in Juneau, Alaska. Remember to like and subscribe, and remember, if you can dream it, you can do it. Bye!